All right, ready? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So that was, thank you for Stone Marshall Media for making that video for us, and for Fresh Tripping for underwriting. And I'm Chris Nesbitt. I am the new event director for TCNewTech. We have lots of time to get to that. I'm really excited about everything that's coming up here soon over the next couple of months. But I wanted to make sure that we took a second to acknowledge Jennifer Succo, who's going to be moving on to new things. Jennifer, thank you for everything that you've put into this. Over the last 2.5 years, you have put so much time and so much energy. It's been tremendous. And I know that the last couple of years have been really tough. So if you guys could join us in a thunderous round of applause to acknowledge Jennifer's hard work. Woo! Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you, Jennifer. So now I'd like to introduce Sarah Hunt, who will be our MC for the evening. And Sarah has actually pitched with us before. She's also started her own company, ProFit Cleaning. And I'm going to hand it off to her. So enjoy the rest of the show.
I'm a little shorter than Chris here. So we're going to take a second to ask you to please silence your phones. As always, we look forward to sharing more with you here, but we don't want to share it with the phones as well. All right, so we want to introduce you to our mission. So for TCNewTech, our mission is to expedite the launch of startups. So what's a startup? A startup is a business in its first stages of operations. You'll hear tonight that covers a lot of territory. We have everything from pre-seed to exit startups. At TCNewTech, we're always looking for new ideas, especially new tech ideas, in hopes that we can launch new adventures that will create high-value economy in Northern Michigan. We appreciate your memberships and the generosity of your sponsorship, because that's what helps us build this thriving ecosystem in Traverse City. So thank you. So tonight we have five 5-minute pitches that will be followed by 5 minutes of Q&A. So we have a timekeeper right here, Keith. Thank you. And he is going to help us keep on schedule. There will be 2 announcements from 2 local nonprofits, and we will be sharing after that presentation 4 minutes for casting your vote on the best pitch tonight. So if you'd like to become a member, we would like you to just scan there. We could share with you more through our TCNewTech emails at no charge, of course, but if you want to support our organization, we'd love for you to become a member. There's lots of benefits to that as well, and you can learn more through our membership program. All right, we want to thank Bar Hopper. Special thanks to Bar Hopper. They presented in the past, but they've also joined with their organization to help support our group here, collectively joining in our event and providing the space. Next, we have our pitch prize sponsor. We want to thank Cambrium Analytic for their sponsorship tonight. It really helps the organizations that are presenting tonight just to move forward with that next little bit of cash. Tonight we have Courtney. She's going to be presenting for us a little quick tip. Courtney, would you like to come take the stage here on your tech tools for collaboration, sponsored by RJG Inc. Oop, I point here.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to talk really quickly tonight about managing your tech toolbox for collaboration. As Sarah said, my name is Courtney Bierschbach. I'm the owner of Solution Weaver Consulting. So what do we know about collaboration? It's a complex process, fraught with barriers, fraught with problems, right? Whether it's personal, professional, anytime we're working with other folks, there's lots of challenges involved. We also know that a really essential piece to collaboration is communication, something that was hard prior to 2020. With now work from home, hybrid, flex time, side gig, side hustle, and everything in between there, communication is even harder than ever. We're really fortunate that there are a lot of very intelligent folks who are creating tools to help us communicate and collaborate. My disclaimer for the evening is that tech tools can't solve everything, but they sure as heck can help. Before you get razzle-dazzled by the next shiny tool that you think is going to solve all of your collaboration problems, I want you to take a beat and do these 3 things before clicking buy now. The first is ask yourself if it's truly a problem. Sometimes we're trying to solve a person and not a problem. If your collaborative group is trying to solve a person, you're going to need some honest, open dialogue. And I have yet to find a tool that's a good substitute for that. There are tools that can help, don't get me wrong, but make sure that you're truly trying to solve a problem that your collaborative is having. Check your current tools. If you're like me, I get really excited about solving something. I go out, I buy all the things I need, I fix it, and then I go to put my tools away and I realize I've bought my 4th hammer, right? Like I inherited one, it came with my house, I found one, I bought one for a project and one for another project. Check your current tools. Make sure that this tool that you bought for one feature doesn't actually have another feature that's going to solve the current problem you're facing. Check for overlap, check for gaps, and ask yourself, is the problem I'm facing from a current tool? Sometimes we just need to level up in our subscription, or sometimes it's time to nix one tool and find another one that will solve lots of problems. The third thing that I'll ask you to do is research the heck out of any new tool that you think you're going to buy. Ask folks in the group that are part of the problem you're trying to solve. Ask folks in your industry, look outside of your industry. There are so many tools that are being created at such a rapid pace today. And sometimes they're really promoted for one industry, but there's so much crossover now. So look outside your industry. Don't be afraid to take all the trials, all the demos. There are experts who, of course, they want you to buy the tool, but before you get up the stream and you've bought and implemented a new tool, put them through their paces and make sure that that tool does what you're hoping it's going to do. Also, be wary of unicorns. Right? There are lots of tools that were created to do one thing, and 2 years later, they've added lots of new bells and whistles, but they're still really good at that one thing and sort of lackluster at the other. So if you get really excited about a tool that promises you it's going to do a lot of things, take a beat, take a look, and make sure that it's truly a unicorn. And know that if it's a unicorn, you're going to pay a lot because unicorns are expensive. So on that note, I will leave you with this parting wisdom. The contents of your toolbox can build a house or demolish a house. So choose your tools wisely. Thank you for coming to my tech talk.
Thank you. Next, we have a remote presenter, and Chris is going to get us set up here for hearing from Troy Morris with Cal Morris, Inc.
Hello there. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, I couldn't be there in person, so I figured I'd be there from outer space. I just want to thank you guys all for having me, and if as long as we're good to go, I will go ahead and get started. All right. So I am Troy Morris. I'm the co-founder and director of operations at Cal Morris Inc. where we are working on keeping space clear for all. So for those unaware of the problem, it's directly overhead and it's trillions of dollars of a problem. That's what we're expecting the value of satellite services to be by 2040. And the problem is that the debris doesn't have a nationality or rationality. It's moving wicked fast, and there's only more of it. As you see along the bottom of the screen, the debris is only increasing over time at a scary rate where we are now, and only worse in the future. To the everyday person, this is a problem as well. The average American is relying on space 30 times before they finish breakfast. So this is when you're checking weather, using an ATM, your phone just for entertainment. All that is reliant on this space tech that is vulnerable just as well as the satellites are. So as space debris eliminates these services, it leaves millions disconnected. At KMI, we're working on the real solution of a debris removal spacecraft. So as you can hopefully see moving along the top of the screen there, that is a ConOps of our craft that would go after it's characterized and capture an actual piece of debris, controlling it so that we can move it to a safer location. We've seen some great signals from Lieutenant General Chance Saltzman. I can't tell you enough how important it is to characterize debris, and that there's a use case from Major General Deanna Burt. All these showing that debris is a problem that we need to work on now. At KMI, we are attacking this problem with software. TumbleEye, built by our co-founder, Adam Call, after his time at NASA Goddard, and Reach, a project that came out of NASA, JPL, DARPA, and USC, developed by our lead engineer, Austin, also a co-founder. But the team is really something more than that. We came together for debris, but we've been working on projects since 2014, and this is just the beginning of where we're going. Now, where we're going is massive, literally. We're talking 10 million kilograms of material that is threatening our daily life. Now, what we're focusing on at KMI is to do 1 rocket body and 5 what's called resident space objects in that first year for a 90 million valuation. And this value is going to come from both our government partners like US General David Thompson, I'll pay by the ton if they can remove debris, and from commercial partners like NanoRex, looking to use our debris and repurposing for their future missions. Now, how does this business model break down? Sadly, space is a little complicated, but we try to keep it simple. First is contracts for debris repurposing. This is focused on the actual capture and removal of debris so that it doesn't knock out your satellite right as you're watching the big game. The second step is a growth industry, looking at debris repurposing, where we work with NanoRex, Cislunars, and other commercial partners to take that former liability in orbit and capture it, control it, and turn it into a resource to build the next stage of humanity in space. And third is providing that information we're collecting. We're going on dangerous missions, doing hard things, and we want to share that for the benefit of humanity so that others who are in the way of debris have a better idea of where it is and how to avoid it. Now, as a company, we're moving. We have established IP as well as establishing traction. We've done it in pre-seed rounds, subject matter expertise with NASA, and actually in Traverse City itself at the North American Space Summit. And we're happy to be back later this year. So working from these NASA and US Space Force contracts, KMI is looking forward to the next few years here as we do our demos, both on the ground and at the International Space Station, moving on to launching the first craft for an actual demonstration and mission of removal in a few years. Now, we've gone really quickly over a lot of hard stuff, but the fundamentals is here. From 1957, when humanity lost the first object, until this year, there's been a lot of items launched without preparation for how to bring them back. KMI is approaching those targets, those legacy assets, and seeing what can we do about them now to prevent them becoming a bigger problem in the future. Thankfully, I'm not doing this mission alone. I'm joined by my co-founders, Adam Call and Austin Morris, as well as our first employee, Liza Foust, communications coordinator. This team is what caused a New Yorker author to say, who wouldn't have confidence in these hyper-bright individuals? So that's something to put on the fridge for sure. But our experience comes from much more. We may hail from Marquette, Michigan, but we're looking to help everyone around the world. What we're looking for next is our seed round. We're doing a $2 million raise to continue expanding the team, finish out the development of the prototype, and acquire the facilities to do the necessary testing for here. So it's something that I thank you guys for the time. We'll open up for questions, and thank you already.
Thank you, Troy. Does anyone have questions for Troy? Okay.
Which is your launch platforms for SpaceX? Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, or Starship?
Could you hear him, Troy?
Not at White.
Which was your launch platform?
Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, or Starship?
Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, or Starship?
So our initial rideshare that we're looking at is from the initial rideshares. Now, as we get to the Starship, that opens up a lot of opportunities and actually decreases our cost. But we've been building off the initial plans of a rideshare, whether it is SpaceX or otherwise. We've built a design to that ESPA ring so that we can ride pretty agnostic of rocket.
Great. Any other questions? All right, one more.
What's your thoughts on the sunspot activity peaking in 2025?
What is, okay.
How is that going to increase your business, so to speak?
What is your thoughts on the sunspots activity and how will that increase your business?
So with the solar weather that you see, it can help move some of the smaller pieces of debris, but also, which I'm guessing you're referencing, is the solar flares, which can knock out tons of satellites. So we see that as a terrible event, just the same way if a whole bunch of cars were to suddenly shut down on the highway, same thing, except for these cars are moving thousands of miles per hour. So we see it as an unfortunate opportunity that we'd rather avoid, but we're trying to get ourselves prepared for to take both advantageous use of the solar weather and how it would push down smaller debris, as well as being prepared for those suddenly defunct satellites.
Okay, thank you. We got a few more questions, Russ Ryba, and we'll follow up. So once there's a detachment from a satellite into orbit, how accurate are you to find it once it lands, the debris lands?
So once it lands back on Earth, that'd be something that, we're trying to land in the Pacific Ocean. It's something that space programs have been doing since the Gemini missions, and that is a option, but I'm actually going to jump to a quick little slide here that shows it's the least preferred option. So we've talked through many of these steps here. What you're talking is the end of releasing it into the ocean. That's possible, and we'd be, aiming for square meter or square miles. Again, there's no one there, so it's pretty accurate. We're really avoiding people's house in a landmass, but what we prefer at KMI is the repurposing of moving it to a deorbit or a graveyard collection station rather than any possible risk of dropping, on anyone's house.
Okay. Bill, did you have a question?
What are some of the repurposing concepts for the legacy items in space?
What are some of the repurposing concepts for the legacy items in space?
Yeah, so some of the repurposing, we did just a small snippet in this short pitch, is for building solar arrays. So taking the still often functioning solar panels of the many satellites, Starlink for one, that will be defunct in just a few 5-10 years, and using those still functioning parts in a large space array so that you could power things either in the area that are not directly in the way of the sun or pushing the energy back down to Earth. That requires some additional tech, and other partner companies are working on that. Also, we're likely to see, and we have some partnerships working with a NASA SBIR opportunity to take that material, melt it down, and either turn it into fuel to use right now, or use it as construction material to build future space stations, or even just the supporting structure of that kind of solar farm. Good question, though.
We have 1 more minute, 1 more question here. Have you made contact with any contractors for support? And if so, what was their response? Contractors like Lockheed.
Prime contractors. The response from them has been very interesting. We have an undisclosed contractor that we're working on for future opportunities, and one of the primes who's building a space station that we are continuing to work with. So the response has been fantastic, ongoing, and also helped fund some of our runways we got from our pre-seed to where we are today. So the primes have been a huge help and partners we continue to work with.
Great. Thank you, Troy. That's all we have time for today.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to next one.
I mean, it's shorter than her. I would love the clicker. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Good. I'm doing really well. My name is Teresa Irving. I just wanted to start. Let's see here, this first one. So I met my husband, Christopher, in the Air Force. Together, we have 37 years of military experience. After 8 kids, 15 deployments, 9 assignments, and we had our family traveling the world, it was time to come back to Michigan and plant some roots. Our mission is simple: to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one experience, one family, and one community at a time. Silver Lake State Park, just down a couple miles down US 31, is a place that over 1.6 million guests visit this 3,000-acre off-road ATV sand dunes every year. The problem is most visitors end up waiting in line most of the day to get in because of the voucher entry process. Am I right, Keith? It's pretty bad. So we have a solution. This is where Duneberry Farms comes in. We're a 67-acre mixed-use space that will provide over 242 parking spaces to ease the parking issues in Silver Lake and reduce the car traffic and answer the what else to do after the dunes. But that's not all. The best part of this is we are going to provide outdoor recreational activities at a low cost with 4 acres of you-pick strawberries and blueberries and an 18-basket disc golf course and a picnic area to enjoy the outdoors. As for our guests, we hit every target and demographic in the local area and tourist group. From those looking for activities to enhance their health and well-being, or explorers wanting to learn more about the outdoors, to the sports enthusiast here for a few rounds of disc golf before they hit the dunes on the ATVs, we've got them covered. We have the $5,000 invested in the land. We've created 5 jobs. We're creating revenue with different streams that we're starting on the farm, and we still have 40 acres to develop. Right now, we only have 27 of the 67-acre space. So our future looks bright, and this is where this program comes in, is we own the land, the disc baskets, and we're asking for your help to grow. Disc golf is a 400% growth industry, and we want to take it to a whole new level at Duneberry Farms with technology that videos your experience at the course. So imagine the idea of being able to play your disc golf course and have it videoed for a production at the end of your course, to be able to have that as your experience. I find it very interesting that we have such a strong economy that really enjoys disc golf tournaments, and currently there's nobody producing that. We'd like to do that at Duneberry Farms. So with the $500 we'd use to develop the idea of videoing the disc golf games and allowing the customers to purchase. So let me be the first to invite you to Silver Lake if you haven't been there, to watch a beautiful sunset, have some fun, get some exercise, explore the outdoors, reconnect with family and loved ones. If you do, you'll learn that at Duneberry Farms, we live the way others vacation. Questions? Great.
I want the microphone.
No, sorry. That's my husband. He's much better at the numbers. So it's a $500,000 investment. Yes. So we're about 3 miles away from the entrance, over there by Fox Barn, and right across the street from Cherry Point, which is already like one of 10 destinations in Michigan to visit. So we have the right corner, and we have an amazing captive audience of tourists. And so I really love this. And I actually grew up, if anybody does love disc golf, is Flip City. And so what I loved about that was watching the #1 disc golf in America be built up as a young child, and seeing how great that has become, and realizing that we should share our story. If you love to disc golf, but maybe you're in California or somewhere else, the idea that you could see this game being played is a great opportunity, and it's one that nobody's taken it up on. So I'm ready to take that challenge on and try. Yes.
Have you planted all your blueberries?
I have not yet. We have just gotten the plants and we will be planting, so they won't be in production for probably a year and a half, 2 years. I would love to.
I got something for you.
Oh, great. Any other questions? I look forward to seeing you all in Silver Lake area. It's a beautiful trip down and a beautiful location to go to. So look forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. Next, we have Bo Paraminer with Text to Tune.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming out. This is always a wonderful event that I always enjoy going to. I had a United States Congressional Award of Excellence by the time I was 30. I own over 10 businesses right now, and I think approximately 10 patents. I'm always thinking of ways to improve stuff, ways to change stuff, ways to modify stuff. I'm not the person that can do the factory job day to day, so that's why I come up with this invention, Text to Tune. It can be used in a lot of different industries. One of the biggest industries that I think it's going to be the most valuable asset in is going to be the learning industry. Global e-learning right now is at $457.8 billion predicted by 2026. Nearly 3/4 of all L&D leaders agree that it has become more influential over the past year. It is very mandatory for businesses to be adapting to the e-learning as shortages for employees continue to rise. Nearly half of L&D pros expect their budgets to increase for L&D in the next year. There are approximately 739 million people in primary education and 601 in secondary education. This is not including any job training, school training, above and beyond for special skilled trades, and specific learning. Even if we're only able to capture 1% of that in the 2026 predictions of $457.8 billion with this amazing learning transformation, that's still $4.578 billion. Music education has a strong impact on children. Children are our future, so I've kind of took focus on this, and we really need to pursue on this. What they see and hear integrates on how they learn and how they pick up on everything that they do and how they move forward. Studies have proven through TRICAD and EL and AL that introducing joyous music has resulted in positive mood, positive score, positive impacts on the future for them, positive test results, and more engagement in their learning, as well as more participation and language, speech, and improving of their communication. So on the virtual learning from 2020 to 2021, it rose 12% to $92.3 billion. 85% of employees want to choose their learning. So that's what's great about our patent that we're going to speak about next is our patent. Anybody can do from anytime, anywhere they're at, whether they're driving in their car to work, they can choose where they want to learn and how they're learning it, and at their own time, their own pace, whether it's at their office and they throw in some earbuds or however they choose to do it. So our patent is text to tune. So we can take any songs you like, download a bunch of them on there, download any data you want to learn, and it will create a song out of this. So if you want to learn how to fly a plane, you want to learn Spanish, anything you want to learn, you take that data, download it on there, the words, text, format, any way you can create that into words, it will translate that into music for you. Music has been shown to improve your source of learning and specific engagement for the memorization and comprehension of it. This has been very useful in studies that they've done on schools as well for even 3 to 12-year-olds on everything they've been able to learn by introducing music. This works great with any information, whether you're trying to do word phrases, speeches, whether you're trying to do college courses, documentaries, scientific, technology, anything you're trying to learn. I think this is going to be great for a lot of my businesses. We've got a lot of things where we're trying to teach specific things that we've created, even with patents, processes, procedures that we've improved. We've created a lot of patents. So a lot of our stuff is proprietary to us, so they can't go get a book and read and learn anything that they want to learn about what we're doing. So this is something that we can introduce for them, have it on text. They can download the music and listen to it on their drive to work, back and forth to work, and everything in that aspect. One of the big reasons I did this is because I can't sit down and read a book. My brain runs so fast. I'm constantly thinking. I get down through 2 pages and I think I could create this, or I can improve this, or I can do this. So I'm ready, moved on to the next thing.
And the next thing, do you have a few more slides or do you want to take questions? You can wrap it up. You can take part of your 5 minutes to finish up the slides here.
Just one last thing then.
Okay.
Ryan Roloski, the CEO of LinkedIn, states, we really need to change and think about more productive and sustainable ways to help connect with talent and opportunity. And I think that's going to be one of the best things that he can do to help with that. It takes away from employers having to train others.
Do you want to share your ask?
Yes. So I'm looking for a partner that can take this to its optimum potential. Open for all options. I didn't want to put a specific ask in there. I don't feel that's really fair because somebody might own a marketing company and think they can really take this to the moon and back. Somebody might be an investor but have great ideas. In business, I've seen so many different ideas. I kind of wanted to leave the ask open.
We've got 4 minutes for questions.
Yes. I have not, but that's a great question, and I would love to do such.
We have some questions back here.
Yes.
Do you have a patent on this, or is it
Patent
patent pending?
pending.
Yep.
Do you have any examples?
Yes, we can send you some example tunes if you'd like. We were going to try to have some ready here, but we were going to present next month, but they actually had a cancellation. So we filled a spot real quick. This was actually prepared yesterday. So hence why I'm reading.
Great job.
Late yesterday. Yes, thank you. Great question. I'm really excited about this patent because there's so many different ways. You know, I think the learning in the school industry really needs to adapt to it quickly just because of school shootings and all the different things going on there, and the stuff they listen to in music has been proven to affect what they do in their life. So I think getting positive tones and getting them learning and getting all that's going to be probably my first area of target. But I mean, there's so many different things. I own barn wedding venues as well too. I own a lot of different companies, but with the barn wedding venues, I mean, somebody can rewrite a song on how they met their wife and different things and download it on there. The sky's the limit with this, and pretty much anything you can put a word to, it'll memorize the algorithms, the tones and everything of the song, and it'll create that into a different song. Yep.
So do you make it like a country song or a rap song? No.
Anything you like. That's just going to base off what you upload. So whatever you like. Yes. Yep. Anything you like, it'll adapt to that.
Got a question here.
Yep. So that's what we're trying to decide and develop, and it'll really depend on who we partner with and which direction they want to go with on that. I kind of like to stay in my lane. I'm an innovator. I'm not the one that likes to be in there and run every side of the business, manage marketing and everything like that. I believe businesses are the most successful with a team together. Everyone accomplishes more. Stay in your lane. So that's why I'm here looking for a partner to be on that side and decide, together what's the best way to go with that.
Any more questions? Got 1 more minute. One more back here.
All right.
Are you with the software here? Is it just a concept at this point, or do you actually have the program?
Yep, we've been working on the programming. The programming is not all in effect just because of scanning music in there online versus, and then whether it's text or how it's downloaded, there's a lot of different fundamentals in there. So we haven't got through all those obstacles of trying to get everything to mesh together perfectly. So we're kind of in the beginning stages of that side of the aspect of it.
Any more? Well, thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Phil.
you.
We're about halfway through. Showcase this cool video by Michigan's Creative Coast. They are a talent attraction initiative that's showcasing how cool Traverse City is to live.
When your son is 3 and within a time of a year you get like almost a month worth of hours back with him physically, it really kind of lands the fact of, balance and time with family is important. And you don't realize what you sacrifice when you do take on a location with a commute to go places.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, what is it again? Just name?
Name and occupation. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Sarah Diaz-Pinel, and I am VP of Sales and Business Development at a startup in LA.
My name is Kyle Pinnell, and I own my own design consultant firm called Pin Academy.
So we spent most of our career in California, and we loved it. It's such a great place, to grow up professionally in our career, but decided we love Michigan. We love Traverse City, that we can actually afford a house here and actually have a backyard. And we grew up riding our bikes around the neighborhood. I would just leave my house and not come home for hours. Can't do that in LA. And so we wanted our kids to have that opportunity to kind of, small community feel, and just, have a house that they can live in. And yeah, to me, that was the most important part.
For me, what's super underrated in Grand Traverse is access. When I say access, I mean access to the airport, access to water, access to parks and trails and sunset vantage points. There's so much here and it's all accessible. We spoke earlier about, distance of car rides and commuting. And what's really almost an ongoing nice surprise is just how close things are in regards to weekday and weekend adventures.
That's an awesome answer. I couldn't agree more.
We want to thank Michigan's Creative Coast for being a sponsor of TCNewTech. Next, we have Brian Linzion with Subleasify.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Lenzine, and I finally figured out how to make residential subleasing work. But before I get into what Subleasify is, let me tell you how I had this idea. Sophomore year at Michigan State, 2019, right before classes started, my roommate comes to me and he tells me he wants to study abroad for a semester, which was great, but we didn't have a subleasing policy. So he went on Facebook, found the first person interested, and I was living with a stranger for a semester. I started noticing other subleasing problems around campus. International students, students who graduate after the fall semester, but they're in a year-long lease. International students who want to travel home for the summer. This isn't just a college campus problem. This happens in large cities too. Recently, working virtually has become very popular. And over 59% of apartments in the US are 2-bedroom or more. So there are a lot of roommate conflicts. So why can't these tenants sublease? Well, either there isn't a sublease policy because the property manager doesn't offer one, or if they do, it's expensive with termination fees, and it's inconvenient having to go to an independent platform, gather all the paperwork from the property manager, get it to the subtenant, and then back to the property manager. And why don't property managers want to offer a convenient sublease policy? Because then they would have to take on that extra workload. They would have to deal with the tenants and the subtenants. And there's really no incentive for them to do that because they already have their tenants locked into a lease agreement. So what I'm getting at is that this is a two-sided marketplace. You have challenges from the tenants, you have challenges from the property manager. The solution, subleasify. Let me explain how it works. It starts with a property manager. They upload a couple quick pieces of information to their dashboard. When a tenant wants to sublease, they go onto the app, they list, and they share that via social media, directly to a friend. And so when a subtenant finds that listing, all the documentation is already conveniently there for them. And so they upload that information and they send it to the property manager dashboard where they can either reject or approve. And when they approve, the sublease is made and the subtenant pays the rent through the traditional process with an additional fee, and that's the financial incentive for the property manager. So let me explain how that financial incentive works. Let's say for this example, the rent is $1,200. Well, in this one example, with 10% sublet fee, it would be listed on the app for $1,320, and so the subtenant's paying $1,320 every time to the property manager. And so essentially the property manager would be making money every time there's a sublease. That's the financial incentive. We are different than any other sublease platform out there because we solve this two-sided marketplace. Craigslist, Facebook, other sublease platforms, they only target the tenant. We go to the property manager first, and by doing that, it makes subleasing work. In the US, annually, there are 44 million tenants. Per our market research, 4% of those tenants sublease. But what Subleasify is doing is making the process better for tenants. But not only that, we're targeting property managers who currently don't offer a sublease policy. So we estimate that we can grow that 4% to over 15%. Our business model and some traction we've seen is to sell to property management companies to give them the platform for free. We have 2 communities owned by Peak Management who've agreed to beta test. And so once a property management company uses Subleasify as their policy, we acquire our customers, which are the tenants. And every time a tenant makes a listing, we charge $24.99, and that's how we monetize. We want to expand with Peak Management. They own 12 other communities throughout United States. And DTN, one example, large property management company who owns 115 communities throughout the United States. And then hopefully, in stands today, there are some property managers who I can do business with moving forward. Our ask is $30,000. We have interested investors who want to fund the app development, but we're still seeking investors for the remaining amount. We have a scheduled launch date for August 1st. Thank you all.
Any questions?
So an issue that you said at the beginning is that you were living with strangers. So how would that necessarily cure the tenant issue of living with a stranger? Do you have any sort of criteria that you can put in as the tenant of activities that you like to do or certain things that can make you get paired necessarily with a subleaser that is going to work well for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's very simple. So we don't even need to do all that. It's just in that case, I would be the roommate. They just need my signature as well. So we use DocuSign. You just send it over to me as well. I sign it. The process is approved. And that's how every roommate has to approve, essentially, to make it work. Oh.
You can repeat the question.
The question was, how would I know, or in my case, how would all the tenants involved be okay with it, or like how would the problem be solved?
How difficult would it be for Craigslist or Rooster to approach the property managers themselves and modify their business model to replicate yours? Are there barriers to entry for that?
It probably wouldn't be Craigslist or Facebook. It'd probably be like current software companies that are already existing for property managers. But the thing is, they can do that, but they're going to charge the property managers for that. I'm giving this to the property manager not only for free, but the property manager can make money off of it.
Any more questions?
Fine.
I've got a lot of commercial and residential properties that I lease out. A few years ago, we switched over to where everything has a personal guarantee. How do you guys adapt to personal guarantees when you get somebody else?
Like personal guarantee for that they're going to get a subtenant.
No, personal guarantee for the rent being paid to the original tenant.
Oh yeah. So in the case that they wouldn't pay, well, first of all, to answer your question, it's the same process. It depends on the property manager. They're still responsible for getting that money, but the subtenant would then be responsible because it's a lease takeover. They're signing through this process. So they're on that lease agreement, and now they're responsible for paying that.
The question was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. The question is how will they handle like a personal guarantee on a lease?
Yeah.
Couple in the back here.
Yeah, actually, the first question was an excellent question that I don't think you understood. He asked, how are you going to find someone that you want to live with? And you talk about your example, not like you'll meet each other through the process, but how you have a questionnaire in place where you find someone you want to live with and share partner conflict.
Okay, I'm sorry if I misunderstood you. So the question is, how would you find somebody that you want to live with? And great question. So that's the whole point. We don't do any advertising or any marketing because we're not going to ever compete with Facebook or with Craig. We're not going to compete with them, but they would still list it. They would still list the pictures. They would have a link there, and that would take them to our website or our app. And so basically Facebook and Craigslist, they're doing the advertising for us then.
Is there like an interview?
Oh.
Yeah, like is there an interview, a vetting process?
Oh, no, I mean, there's a background check. So, I mean, you can communicate the normal process, but no, we're not going to go through all that to make sure it's a good fit. I mean, yeah.
We got 30 more seconds. Is there one more question, Mark? Or Russell? No? Well, thank you, Brian. Sounds good. Take that. Let me just skip through a few more slides here. Great, now I get to introduce Brock Crandall with Stacked. Welcome, Brock.
Thanks. I'm gonna put this right here. All right, I'm gonna start off with a little video to show you guys exactly what we do. Hey, I'm Brock from Stack. Oh, that rhymes. And so does saving you time. Let me show you how. Grocery store on vacation? Nah, let us stock you up. Want more than just groceries? We all know babes love cheese. Staying in line, it sounds fun and all, but I'd rather be doing what this guy's doing. We don't deliver goods, we deliver greats. Just like this Great Lakes Chocolate and Dessert Company cake. Vacation is meant for spending time and making memories with loved ones, not in a grocery store. So the next time you go on vacation, get stocked up. Thank you. Hello, my name is Brock Crandall, and I'm the founder and owner of Stocked. I'm going to tell a small story about how the journey all started. A couple years ago, I went out to Colorado with a bunch of buddies, and we were going to go out and shred the gnar. We were there for 6 days, and when we landed, we all piled into the car, and we were off to the mountain. Well, about halfway there, we realized we got to go to the grocery store. So we all got on our phones. We're trying to figure out where the closest grocery store was. And when we got there, we wanted to divide and conquer. Well, we didn't really conquer. We came back with a bag of potato chips and a pack of beer. This is when the idea hit me that how nice it would have been to be stocked up with all our grocery needs before we showed up upon arrival and have everything in the fridge and on the counter. If we had this service, we would have saved an extra day to be shredding the gnar out in the mountain. So here we are now. We have started an online local marketplace with delivered goods and groceries. We started here in June 2021 in the Grand Traverse area. Our goal is to save people time and give local companies exposure and access to our delivery services. Now we started our focus with vacationers and tourists and stocking them up before they show up. So 3 or 4 days in advance, they would put an order in and we'd have everything waiting in their fridge for them to maximize their vacation time and see what Traverse City all has to offer. But all of a sudden we were getting local orders as well. And we just figured out that there was a local need too. All the local customers liked using our service to go around town and pick up everything they needed in town, because we all know how busy summer can get with traffic and the wintertime with the roads being so bad. The market for delivery has been growing over the past year. Our average order for the last 3 months has been around $175 per customer. There's approximately 96,000 people here in Grand Traverse County. And with that being said, there's an $8.3 million in market opportunities for just Grand Traverse County. Now, you guys probably all think I'm crazy for competing against the Ship, Instacart, DoorDashers, but we're an online local marketplace that started right here in Northern Michigan. We have branded vehicles to protect our local vendors so they know who's picking up their product and protecting that product and delivering it right to the customer as the way it was picked up. We are currently in process of a multi-vendor checkout, which means you can shop all of our local vendors here in town, all in one cart, all in one checkout process. We have partnered with over 300 plus rental properties, and we have a strong local presence, and we have a ton of technology behind our service. As we work on improving our processes, Stocked is asking for anyone who would like to try our time-saving service in return for some constructive criticism and feedback. We are giving anyone here that wants to give us a try free delivery using code TCNewTech at checkout. This QR code is our website, so check us out, and I'm ready for some questions.
Right on time with that delivery. He was right on time. We've got a question right over here on the left.
Yes. Thank you, yeah. So you're asking 2 questions there?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Okay. So app development costs. Right now we're a very mobile friendly website. So you can go on, you can search our products very quickly. But those app development costs will be hefty. We're probably looking around, $25,000 to $50,000. And then so our pricing model is a percentage of the bill plus a delivery fee. Different vendors. We work with every vendor differently. So whatever works for both of us to deliver the goods.
And a question right over here.
Yes.
Two,
Oh, two. Whatever one.
So what is your main sort of marketing marketing strategy? Are you just going for like marketing people that search for VRBOs in the area, or what another idea that I would think of is talking to a lot of VRBO rental property management companies?
Yeah. So yeah, we currently work through a lot of work with a lot of rental companies. We provide their guests a very time-saving service, in return for offering our service to their guests. Yes, sir.
Do you have a centralized warehouse location that you can pile up all of these locally produced products?
We have an office, but we don't have a warehouse. What's that? Yeah.
Dana's got a question here.
Yes.
Have you considered taking it to other areas? For instance, Harbor Springs, very, very, very wealthy area for summer clients there. Their local grocery store has been doing this for over 50 years, but they don't have an app. They don't have any online way to do that. Would you consider, or maybe you should consider, or avoid those kinds of areas where if you have your app, being able to help with expansion of some of those apps?
Yeah, so actually we were reached out to by someone over in Tawas City. And so they kind of got in contact with us about the same thing. So, there's our scale is pretty easy. Once we nail down our processes here, we can take it up to these other towns and have, stocked local Harbor Springs or, Petoskey. Okay, that's good to know.
Yes. How are we doing on time here? Great. Any more questions?
Yes. So right now we just have one van. Yep. Pack that thing full.
Bo's got a question for you.
Oh, right here. Yeah.
Besides some Airbnbs, and I think it's a wonderful idea. You did a great job marketing. Google gives you $10,000 a month for free for nonprofit ad spend.
Okay.
That might be a good approach for you to take and donate any of the food that's left behind at the Airbnbs. They can check out, let me know we left this food behind, and pick it up, donate it as a nonprofit, and then pick up $10,000 for free ad spend per month.
Yeah. That's a good idea because we did at first we were thinking about like how can we donate the extra food that's left over without incurring a lot of costs.
You do some work for Feed the Kids.
Yeah.
Want to share that?
Yeah, we also do. We also are very close with J&S Hamburg South Airport. I don't know if you guys know what they do there over there, but they're Project Feed the Kids. So what they've provided 100,000 free meals for kids in need.
One more minute. Last question.
Yeah, so we recently kind of ventured into a business-to-business delivery. We have a contract with a bakery supply company that we meet their semi-truck here in Traverse City and take a pallet of goods out of their truck, put it in our van, and drive it to Northport. This saves their driver fuel, time, and they don't have to take the 50-foot trailer up there to Barb's Bakery.
Great use. Any more questions? Well, one more quick question.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I think our time is up.
All right.
Keith is here working on that. Thank you, Brock. Thanks, Brock. I'm going to introduce Eric. We're going to see what's happening with our friends at 20 Fathoms with Eric Roberts, the executive director. I apologize, Eric.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay. By the way, did she say 8 kids? Teresa, shout out, Teresa. That's unbelievable. And you're doing a business too. Good for you, man. Like would somebody give her $500 and we're done here? Even if it's not, I'm not proposing any. I'm not supporting any particular, but holy hell, that's well done. So just a couple updates on 20 Fathoms. So we had Startup Week a few weeks ago, and the dust had not even settled on that. And there's an organization, you've all heard me talk about them, and others in town actually talk about them as well many times, called Corey Center on Rural Innovation out of Vermont. We're one of the very original members when they started up, and their mission is to redefine what rural digital economies are all about. And so we've got a really strong cohort. There's 28 of them total. And they had their annual summit down in Missouri last 2 weeks ago. We actually had a couple members of 20 Fathoms go down there for it. Incredibly energizing, incredibly inspiring. They've got actually got pretty good presence in Washington, D.C. too, on policy around rural and government investment in rural. So really, really a very, very good event. That as we in 20 Fathoms, as we develop our priorities and our plans and what we're going to do the next 6 and 12 and 18 months, I just want you to know that they help inform that we take a lot away from them. The one in Independence, they had a really cool event. I don't know if we'll do it or not. Maybe it's Startup Week next time. You know, you always have the entrepreneur founders, all the successful. They get up on stage and tell you all the amazing things they do and how awesome they are. They did the same thing, but the only thing you could talk about was your failures. That's it. What did you do wrong? What did you fail at? And then you learn from it, right? And one guy got up there and he's like, I don't even know what I was supposed to learn from it. This is what went wrong, right? So, but what it created was this very safe environment, right? Entrepreneurs were willing to take a risk a little bit. So it's inspirational. They watched their ecosystem. A couple other people said, what the hell? I'll take a shot at it, right? The risk is low. So it was a very good learning event. It was just a very, so they were down there. There were 28 different organizations. They come with things that works. Oh yeah, we did try that once. Here's one of the problems you have. Try this instead. You want to get your DEI up. Here's the thing you want to run. You can be very intentional about it in this particular respect. So anyway, really, really good event. We took some really cool things away from it. And the team was, despite that we had just come out of Startup Week, very energized by the time there. One of the things that it has informed, we had begun down this path a little bit to begin with, but it really affirmed this because all of these other organizations are doing it too, which is focusing a bit more of our programming and our deliverables towards the really early stage, right? For everybody who's got the courage and stands up here on stage, there's 5 other ones in Traverse City who have got an idea and a napkin and they just don't know where to go with it. How do they get it off the ground? So it's really sparked some good thoughts that we have on how to help that community. Maybe they'll never be 20 Fathoms members. Maybe they're never going to come join us, but gosh, they have an idea and they want to know how to get the thing off the ground. We know we've got to provide more resources in that area, so you're going to hear more from us on that topic. Immediately speaking, there's 2 coming up here. If you're in that category, go to these. They don't cost you anything. They're open to the public. They take place at 20 Fathoms, so you'll get in and see the space a little bit. You got to register. Okay, grab the website on the bottom. You have to make sure you register for it. But the one on the left, this David Knows guy, I talked to him maybe 2 months ago. He wanted to have a presence in Traverse City. He's like, what can I do? How can I come and learn? He's the head of that department of Central Michigan's entrepreneurship department. He's coming down and he's going to teach us introductory class. If we get good registrations and we get good turnout for it, he said, I'll come back, we'll do a 3-part series, and then we'll repeat that once a quarter, once every half a year or something like that. So lots of good resources coming your way. Again, we're firing towards the beginning part of that cycle as well. And then SBDC as well. That's about a week and a half later. I lost track of the date. There it is. Yeah, about a week and a half later, SBDC is going to be here as well. Chuck, is your friend here? What, Kaio? Is what Kaio? Yeah, came up from Ann Arbor, right? Is with SBDC, is here in town. So we have some visitors here too from out of town. Anyway, that's an event that's coming up in a couple weeks. Got to register for it. Come over to 20 Fathoms. We have the event there. Trying to get more and more stuff back to live. So we appreciate if you could come and see us and take part in these. And then lastly is super cool. So I got a friend, as a matter of fact, he came in very late. He arrived at the very end here, gives me hell every single time I tell him what a great beer 30 we had, that we never say anything about beer 30. How am I supposed to know that we're even having a beer 30? Here it is on stage. Take a picture, do whatever you got to do. This Thursday, so 2 days, day after tomorrow, we're having a beer 30. Who's never been to one? Okay. Who has been to one? Okay, about 50-50. It's just a social. Come and have a beer. It's on us. It's actually on our new good friends at Earth and Ales. I'll get to them in a second. But it's open to all of you. Stop in. You learn some cool things about other people who are at 20 Fathoms, other people who are not members that come up, and you just, hey, what are you working on? And it's just really has been a very successful thing, especially if we came out of Omicron and we got them going again. There's become a new contest to see who can have the best food. So this one is also Cambium Analytic. Is anybody here from there? Like they're all over the place. There they are. Congratulations. So they're also sponsoring Beer 30 in a day and a half. And I'm sure we'll have some food as well, but we've got really it's become a really cool vibe. I'm really proud of it. It's really going well. The coolest part though is that Earth and Ales has become our sponsor for Beer 30. We're super excited about that. Yeah, that's if you haven't yet gone there or haven't met Andrew and his wife Jamie, I haven't met Jamie yet. Andrew came in and talked to us. Super cool guy. He's got a history of doing work in environmental sustainability. He's working that into his beers. Super interesting guy. I think he's going to come on Thursday as well. Of course, he's invited to every one of them. But they're going to be providing our beer for our events. So I think that's it. And then so in July for TCNewTech, there's a couple of at least 2 that I know of, maybe a third. Really cool things coming. So it's just a teaser. I can't tell you about them, but they're really, really cool. So make sure you mark your calendars for July.
All right, I'm about to initiate the voting slide here, but before I do that, I just want to let you guys know we do offer a 30-second PSA announcement. So don't line up too quickly. Don't knock anybody over, but if you have something to share with our audience, you can hit this microphone here or the one to my left, the one to your right. All right, so everybody, this is how you're going to vote tonight for the best pitch. Take a picture of it. These are the texting options, and you are going to text to, I hope there's a part of it in the slide. I can tell you the number. It's 203-529-8755. All right, so we have a couple public announcements. I think Keith is going to set the timer. Ready?
So, hi, my name is Merrick Roman. I represent Cherry Capital Toastmasters. We meet every Thursday. We are a hybrid club meeting online on Zoom this Thursday. We're on Facebook. We have a website. Find our Zoom link. I learned about Toastmasters from TCNewTech. We have some great people that we're presenting. You want to learn those skills, practice those skills. No better place than Toastmasters. See you there, all online.
Great, thank you. Rod, 30 seconds.
Oh, come on.
30 seconds.
Rod with American. I can put your logo on anything you're looking at. All these people having these businesses. Eventually, you're going to want to put your logo on some merch. Next Wednesday over at Hotel Indigo, I'm having an open house and bringing in a bunch of suppliers so you can come in, see the latest fashion, styles, decorating techniques, and trends. So come and hit me up and I can get you registered. You can come over and look at whatever you need for your logo gear.
Great. Thank you, Rod.
So a year ago, I moved here. So thank you for welcoming Michigan Tech. My name is Jay Meldrum, the director of Keweenaw Research Center and the liaison to Michigan Tech. So my big 30-second announcement is in the fall of this year, we are going to deliver in Traverse City a management and business administration. It'll be taught from Houghton, delivered to my building, TCNewTech, and sign up early and sign up often. And I'll say more about it in detail at the next meeting if they let me. My 30 seconds and up, but come get a card for me and I'll make sure you get information about that. Thanks.
Thank you, Jay. Marty, you got 30 seconds.
Hi, Sarah. First of all, I have a pen right here that I ordered from Rod at American. So good stuff. And actually, I talked to Mike. I'm sending you a new order here. And I also went to Michigan Tech. But the reason I'm up here, I'm a commercial realtor. I've heard a lot of things. There's subleasing through Subleasify. I've heard you have warehouse space. I've heard we have office. So if I can ever be of any help to anybody along the way, even if it's just a chat about what the market's like, it's crazy in commercial real estate, just like residential. Again, Marty Stevenson, commercial realtor. Thank you.
Thanks for the introduction. 30 seconds.
Yes. Hi, my name is Brian Van Voorst, and I have organized a meetup group here in Traverse City that is a meetup group for people who are telecommuting out of their house for some remote company.
So I myself work for a Boston-based company, and as such, I don't have coworkers. And there are thousands of us in the area who don't have coworkers, but we get together every once in a while and socialize and complain about work to people who we don't know. It keeps you from talking to the cat. So our next event is going to be at Earth and Nails. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
On June 25th on Tuesday. And I usually have cards, I don't, but you can find it at meetup.com and look for TC Telecommuters. Tell your neighbor who's trapped at home to get out of the house.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more over here.
Hello, I'm Bill
Newton's.
Myers. I'm here to raise money for a great project. We're going to send a researcher from Michigan Tech to Virginia Tech to actually look through the archives of the Parsons Corporation here in Traverse City about the rich history of manufacturing in Traverse City, the invention of numerical control in Traverse City, Saturn V fuel lines being made in Traverse City, helicopter blades in the Korean War being made in Traverse City. It's an incredible research project. About 10,000 is what we have to raise. We'd like to get just donations from the community to pay for it to create a digital archive of the history of Parsons in Traverse City.
Thank you. One more.
Hey, I'm Sean Roach. I do photography here for the past couple months. You're welcome. You guys may know Action Globe Bros, Dakota and Garrett Porter. They've launched the Big Pie Project in Traverse City, and they're trying to build the world's largest cherry pie, bring it back from Canada to Traverse City. You might not have known. Check them out. They're on GoFundMe right now, and they're trying to launch this in August. So all the support you can bring them, send it up online.
Thank you, Sean. Last but not least, it's time to announce our winner. And our winner tonight is Brock Crandall with Stocked. Come take the stage. And I believe there will be a big check that we will present here. And I apologize, I beat Chris to the slide deck here. So we're gonna take a second and get that check presented to you. And we're gonna thank our sponsors of the big check. Again, is Cambium Analytics. Thank you so much for all your support with the big check today.
There you go, sir. Congrats. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. So we'll let you guys get a picture there. Congrats. Yeah. You'll get a real one, like that you can take to the bank later. So I would like to take the little bit of time we have left to thank our sponsors. I believe I saw a post from Susan Sarafardine on State Farm, and Chris is trying to get back to the slide deck, but I believe it's her 7th year anniversary or birthday for her company. So if you have some time, connect with Susan and her team over at State Farm. She's been a long time supporting sponsor for TCNewTech. We'll get you that slide next time. We also have Lisa Baker with State Farm. She's our other MC. She's in the crowd here. I see her. She wants to look up and say hi to everybody. Thank you, Lisa. That's what we've got. Sorry, we don't have your slide. Oh! Don't jump on stage. I apologize. My company too is Profit Clean. We like to help you profit in your day with your cleaning services. Get a little bit more time in your day to enjoy that Northern Michigan weather. And then Bar Hopper. Bar Hopper took the stage the last time, and it was a good time that I spoke with him. And he's been supporting everybody connecting in the area, showing them how they can get into the space and what it looks like. So check out their app. And so we're going to thank a couple in-kind sponsors as well. Before we let you guys go here, Elevate Net's been keeping our Wi-Fi going strong. As you've heard from 20 Fathoms and Michigan Creative Coast, we have Pro 360 Media, Akai Productions, and if you have a job, please post it on our True Job. It's been something that's been going very strong since almost day one of TCNewTech, and we would love to see more job postings on there. So once again, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We've had some great local talent, and we hope to see you at the next event where Lisa will be jumping on stage and announcing the winners there. Thanks. And thank you, Chris, for the first event. Little hiccup, but we'll get it down next time. I believe everybody's going somewhere afterwards. I apologize. There might be one more slide I missed, but where are we all going afterwards? The workshop. Thank you, guys. And there is a beer there that they'll give us a $1 donation, I believe, still with Pour for More. So I just forgot what it was called. I apologize. Thank you.